You ever just look at your dog and think, how did this even happen? How do we get this incredible bond? Well, that classic story you've probably heard about brave humans taming scary wolves is, well, it's pretty much wrong. The real story is way more surprising, and it tells us just as much about ourselves as it does about our furry best friends.
Think about it. We've all had it drilled into us since school. Evolution is all about survival of the fittest. But what if that's not the whole picture? What if for some of the most successful species on Earth, yeah, I'm talking about dogs and even us, the real key to making it wasn't being the fittest, but being the friendliest?
All right, so let's really get into this. To find out where this all began, we have to go back. I mean, way back. Not just before farming was a thing, but deep into the last ice age. Picture a world of mammoths, huge glaciers, and our hunter-gatherer ancestors. I mean, just look at this timeline. The scale of it is kind of mind-blowing. The ancestors of our dogs split off from some ancient wolf population maybe 40,000 years ago. That's so long before the pyramids, it's not even funny. The first actual dog fossil we can point to is over 17,000 years old. And get this, by 14,500 years ago, we were already burying dogs with people. That tells you this wasn't some new development. This partnership is ancient.
So you can just throw out that whole image of a caveman going out to capture the biggest, baddest wolf. That's not what the evidence suggests. It was much more likely a different scene. The wolves that were naturally a little less scared, a little more curious, they started hanging around human camps. Why? Free leftovers, of course. And in that new niche, the friendlier they were, the better they ate.
And this whole process has a name. It's called self-domestication. It's basically evolution giving a high five to the friendly ones. We weren't out there actively breeding the nicest wolves. Instead, the wolves who could get along with us just did better. They essentially domesticated themselves. The ones who could hang out got ahead. It was survival of the friendliest.
That how did this actually work on a biological level? I mean, what physically changed inside those animals to turn a wary wolf into a dog who just wants belly rubs? Well, the answers are hiding in their genes and their hormones.
And this is where the story gets really, really wild. Scientists have actually found a genetic link between that over-the-top, I love everyone friendliness you see in dogs and a very rare genetic condition in humans that causes people to be incredibly outgoing and social.
Yep, researchers pinpointed these 3 specific genes. In humans, variations in them are linked to something called Williams-Bierens syndrome. And it seems that in dogs, these exact same genes were tweaked in a way that dialed down their fear and cranked up their desire to socialize. It basically pre-wired them to be our perfect companions.
And it's not just DNA, it's also chemistry. You know when your dog just stares into your eyes? When that happens, your brain gets a hit of oxytocin, the love hormone. It's the same stuff that helps parents bond with their babies. That hormone makes you want to pet your dog, which in turn raises their oxytocin levels. It's this amazing biological feedback loop of affection. And the craziest part? Scientists have tested it. This loop doesn't happen with wolves.
Now, if you're thinking, okay, this is a cool theory, well, it was put to the test in a famous, long-running experiment. Scientists in Siberia started breeding silver foxes, and they selected them for only one trait: how friendly they were to humans. That's it. And within just a few generations, they not only had foxes that were as tame and loving as dogs, but their bodies started to change. They got floppy ears, curly tails, shorter faces. Just by selecting for niceness, they literally reshaped the animal.
So we've seen how friendliness turned wolves into dogs. But this story of self-domestication, it doesn't stop there. Here's the big parallel. It might also be our story.
To get this, we have to talk about genes for a second. Your genes aren't some strict set of instructions. They're more like a range of possibilities. So look at these charts. You can have 2 individuals with different genetic blueprints. In one environment, they might behave exactly the same. But put them in a different environment, and suddenly, their behavior can be wildly different. The takeaway is simple. Our environment, our experiences, they have a massive impact on how our genes actually play out. And this is key to understanding ourselves.
And that brings us to the human self-domestication hypothesis. The idea is that deep in our own past, modern humans went through the same process. The individuals who were better at cooperating, who were less aggressive, they became better social partners. They had more allies. And this allowed us to form bigger, more complex groups, to share technology, and to ultimately outcompete other human species. Our real superpower wasn't our aggression, it was our ability to get along. But there's a major twist here. This whole evolutionary drive for friendliness, the very thing that made us and dogs so successful, it has a dark side.
A really troubling paradox, actually.
This quote just nails the idea perfectly. Think about a mother bear. She has this intense, powerful love for her cubs, but that exact same emotion is what fuels her violent rage if she thinks they're in danger. The two feelings aren't separate. The affection and the aggression are two sides of the very same coin.
And for us humans, it's the same deal. The very same emotional hardware that allows for incredible kindness and cooperation with our in-group, our team, our tribe, can be flipped and turned into ruthless, terrible cruelty toward any group we see as an outgroup, a competitor, or a threat. Our capacity for large-scale love is tied directly to our capacity for large-scale conflict. So, what do we do with that? It's kind of unsettling knowledge, right? If our own biology wires us for both deep connection and terrible conflict, are we just doomed to repeat these cycles forever? The researchers behind this theory say no. They argue we have a choice.
And this goes right back to the power of our environment. Our surroundings can push our buttons, triggering either our best instincts or our worst ones. If we build societies based on fear and separation, we're naturally going to amplify our potential for aggression towards outsiders. But if we consciously design our communities to encourage trust and reduce fear, we can intentionally activate the better angels of our domesticated nature.
So this whole story, one that started with a friendly wolf at an Ice Age campfire, it leaves us with a really profound question. Our biology isn't our destiny, it's our potential. We are literally hardwired for both incredible cooperation and for terrible cruelty. The choice of which path to build our world on, well, that rests with us.